Good evening. There is something deeply powerful about belief. Not the belief in systems, strategies, or even grand visions, but belief in people. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every act of courage can be traced back to a moment when someone believed in another person before they believed in themselves. Think about it. The teachers who saw potential in struggling students, the mentors who pushed someone beyond their comfort zone, the leaders who trusted their team to take on something bigger than they thought possible. Without someone believing in us, doubt takes over. We hesitate, we hold back, and sometimes we never even try. But when someone believes in us, truly believes, it can change the entire course of our lives. Great leaders, mentors, and friends don't just tell people what to do. They show them who they can become. They remind us of our worth, even when we forget it ourselves. And in a world that constantly tests our confidence, having even one person who truly believes in us can make all the difference. There is no greater catalyst for human potential than belief. We often assume that people succeed because they are naturally gifted or because they have an inherent drive to achieve great things, but more often than not, the real reason behind their success is that someone, whether a teacher, a mentor, a friend, or a leader, believed in them before they believed in themselves. That belief creates a spark, a moment of realization that they are capable of far more than they imagined. It is this external faith that often gives people the confidence to take the first step toward greatness. When someone believes in us, it changes how we see ourselves. We may not feel ready, we may be filled with doubt, but the fact that someone else sees potential within us forces us to reconsider our own self-limiting beliefs. It gives us permission to think bigger, to dream bolder, and to push past the invisible barriers we have placed around ourselves. This is why so many of the world's most successful people, from athletes to entrepreneurs to artists, can point to a moment in their lives when someone else's belief gave them the courage to take risks they never would have taken alone. Belief isn't about telling someone they are perfect. It's about helping them see that they are capable of growth. The best mentors, leaders, and friends don't just praise, they challenge. They push us beyond our comfort zones because they know we are capable of more. They see our potential even when we are blind to it. This is why great coaches push their players to train harder, why great teachers challenge their students with difficult concepts, and why great leaders give their teams responsibilities that feel just out of reach. They know that belief, combined with the right challenge, unlocks the highest levels of human potential. But belief alone is not enough. It must be expressed. Too often we assume that people already know we believe in them, that they can sense our confidence in their abilities. But unspoken belief has far less power than spoken encouragement. A simple phrase like, "I know you can do this," or "I trust you with this responsibility," can be the difference between someone stepping forward or shrinking back. The best leaders and mentors don't keep their faith in people hidden. They voice it, they reinforce it, and they remind people of it consistently. Because sometimes all it takes to unlock potential is to hear someone say, "I believe in you." And once belief takes root, it creates a ripple effect. People who have been believed in go on to believe in others. They pay it forward by mentoring, encouraging, and lifting others up. This is how belief becomes a force multiplier, unlocking not just individual potential, but collective greatness. When we believe in someone, we don't just help them. We help create a chain reaction of confidence, courage, and growth that continues far beyond what we can see. Self-doubt is one of the most crippling obstacles we face in life. It whispers in our minds, telling us that we are not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. It convinces us that we don't deserve success or that failure is inevitable. And the most dangerous part? Most of the time, self-doubt doesn't come from reality. It comes from the stories we tell ourselves. We compare our weaknesses to other strengths. We focus on what we lack instead of what we have. And we convince ourselves that we are not capable. But there is something that has the power to break through even the deepest self-doubt. Encouragement. Encouragement is not just about making someone feel good. It is about rewriting the narrative they have been telling themselves. When someone we respect tells us, "I believe in you," or "you have what it takes," it disrupts the negative cycle in our minds. It forces us to pause and reconsider. Could they be right? Is it possible that I am capable of more than I think? A single word of encouragement at the right time can be the difference between someone giving up and someone pushing forward. What makes encouragement so powerful is that it comes from an external source. When we doubt ourselves, we don't trust our own thoughts. We assume that our fears and insecurities are valid. But when someone else, especially someone we admire, sees potential in us, it gives us a new perspective. It's as if they are holding up a mirror, showing us a version of ourselves that we never recognized before. That moment can be transformative. It's the moment an artist decides to keep painting, a student decides to keep studying, an entrepreneur decides to keep building, or an athlete decides to keep training. Encouragement also creates momentum. The more we hear words of belief from others, the more we start to internalize them. At first, it may feel foreign, like wearing a jacket that doesn't quite fit. But over time, with repeated reinforcement, encouragement begins to take root. It reshapes how we see ourselves and, more importantly, how we approach challenges. Instead of hesitating out of fear, we begin to step forward with confidence. Instead of assuming we will fail, we start to believe that success is possible. Encouragement plants the seed of resilience, giving us the strength to keep moving forward even when things get tough. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about encouragement is that it is contagious. When we experience the power of encouragement firsthand, we naturally want to pass it on. We remember what it felt like to have someone believe in us, and we want to do the same for others. This is how encouragement creates a ripple effect. It spreads from one person to another, breaking down self-doubt and replacing it with belief. Because when one person lifts another up, they don't just change a moment, they change a life. Trust is one of the most powerful forces in human relationships. It has the ability to unlock hidden potential, inspire bold decisions, and create an environment where people feel safe enough to take risks. When someone places their trust in us, it sends a message that they believe we are capable, responsible, and strong enough to handle the challenges ahead. And that trust does something remarkable. It empowers us to take action. It gives us permission to step forward, even when we are uncertain. Without trust, fear takes over. But with trust, we gain the confidence to move, grow, and achieve more than we ever thought possible. When we are trusted, we feel a sense of responsibility. We don't want to let down the person who has placed their faith in us. This feeling of responsibility isn't about pressure, it's about purpose. It shifts our mindset from self-doubt to determination. We start to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to prove that the trust placed in us was justified. And in that process, we begin to trust ourselves more. The truth is, many of us struggle with self-trust. We question our abilities, our decisions, and our worth. But when someone else trusts us, it bridges the gap between our self-doubt and our potential. Trust is also a powerful motivator. Think about the leaders, mentors, and teachers who have had the biggest impact on your life. Were they the ones who micromanaged you, or were they the ones who gave you space to grow? The best leaders don't control every move their people make. They trust them to figure things out. They provide guidance, but they also step back and let people take ownership. That level of trust fosters innovation, confidence, and creativity. When we know that someone believes in our ability to handle a challenge, we take it more seriously. We push ourselves harder. We rise to meet their expectations, not because we have to, but because we want to. The absence of trust, on the other hand, creates hesitation. If we are constantly doubted, second-guessed, or micromanaged, we become afraid to make decisions. We start playing it safe. We choose the comfortable path over the bold one. But when trust is present, it gives us the freedom to act. It allows us to take risks, knowing that if we fail, we won't be abandoned or blamed, but supported and guided. That's what makes trust so empowering. It removes the fear of failure and replaces it with the courage to try. And the best part about trust? It's a cycle. When someone trusts us and we rise to the challenge, we gain the confidence to trust others. We learn to believe in the abilities of those around us, just as others once believed in us. This is how trust spreads, one person at a time, one act of belief at a time. And as it spreads, It creates an environment where action becomes second nature, where people feel safe enough to take chances, and where growth is not just possible, but inevitable. Human potential is often like a dormant seed, full of possibility but waiting for the right conditions to grow. Some people go through life never realizing what they are capable of, not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they lack belief, either in themselves or from others. When someone believes in us, it serves as a catalyst for unlocking that hidden potential. It shifts our mindset, encourages us to take action, and allows us to grow into the person we were always capable of becoming. Belief is not just about confidence, it is about transformation. The most powerful aspect of belief is that it overrides self-imposed limitations. Too often we tell ourselves that we can't do something before we even try. We set artificial barriers in our minds, assuming that we are not smart enough, strong enough, or skilled enough to succeed. But when someone we trust looks us in the eye and says, "I see something in you," it forces us to question those limitations. Could they be right? Could I be capable of more than I think? That single moment of belief can ignite a fire within us, pushing us to test the boundaries of our own abilities. Belief doesn't just boost confidence, it changes behavior. When someone believes in us, we begin to act differently. We take more chances, embrace challenges, and push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. Without belief, we hesitate, we overthink, we play it safe. But when we know that someone sees our potential, we start to take steps we wouldn't have taken otherwise. We apply for opportunities we once thought were out of reach. We raise our hands when we used to stay silent. We start acting like the person they believe we can become. This is why great leaders, mentors, and teachers understand the power of belief. They don't just see people as they are, they see them for who they could be. They recognize that potential is not always obvious. It is something that needs to be nurtured and cultivated. And the best way to cultivate potential is through belief. When people feel seen, valued, and trusted, they rise to the occasion. They start working harder, thinking bigger, and striving for more. Belief becomes the foundation on which success is built. And just like encouragement and trust, belief is contagious. When someone believes in us, we start believing in ourselves. And once we experience the power of belief firsthand, we naturally want to pass it on. We begin to see the potential in others, just as someone once saw the potential in us. We become the mentor, the leader, the friend who says, "I believe in you," knowing full well that those 4 words might be the most powerful gift we ever give. Because in the end, belief is not just about what we achieve, it's about who we become in the process. At the core of every success story, every moment of growth, and every leap forward in life, there is someone who believed in another person. We don't rise alone. We rise because someone saw potential in us before we saw it in ourselves. We rise because someone encouraged us when we were uncertain, supported us when we stumbled, and reminded us that we are capable of more than we think. And the most beautiful part? We have the power to do the same for others. We can be the voice that lifts someone up, the hand that steadies them when they feel unsteady, and the belief that fuels their courage. When we choose to invest in others, when we choose to believe in them, we don't just change their lives. We create a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can see. So think about the people in your life. Who believed in you? Who helped shape the person you are today? And more importantly, who needs you to believe in them right now? Because at the end of the day, we all need someone to believe in us. And when we make the choice to be that person for others, we don't just help them grow, we become better leaders, better friends, and better human beings.